everyone, and welcome to episode 153 of the Holding Kourt podcast. Today, we're talking about our visit to a reality competition TV show set. We'll recap our charity 9th annual golf tournament, and Justin will fill us in on MLB's first ever Vegas golf tournament. So much golf. All coming up right now on Holding Kourt.
Bum 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 bum.
It has been a while since I've had you as a guest on the podcast.
I know. I was just thinking about how I had to pop into the screen because I was working the buttons on the board over there. Like, what do you do when I'm not here? Who works the board? You just do it all yourself?
So this is actually perfect because yes, I do. And it's one of those things where you and I have talked about it before. It is the not helplessness, but the difference in what wives will do when their partner is not home. And then you could be laying on the couch and it's, can you grab me this water? Can you take out the trash? Can you do all this when you're here? But it's just nicer to have the extra hand when you're around in all aspects of our life, including you pushing my buttons on the podcast. So it's good to have you back. I will say, I don't want to dim your light here, but it is just a quick boop, and then I get back in frame. And while the video version, the theme song is playing, it's showing the logo. I don't know if you've ever watched it on YouTube. I think you listen in your car.
Yeah.
But you don't see me. It's like Wizard of Oz. You don't see behind the curtain, but I get back over here. I just do a long reach. I got a long wingspan, back in the seat, and we're live. We go. So I can do it without you, but it's nice to have you here. And it is nice to have you back on the podcast.
I'm just so happy you said all that unprompted. That's amazing. I feel like I need to play my 8-hour rounds of golf every day, and you'd be so much more productive just because I wouldn't be here.
It's true. I do a lot without you, but like I said, it's nice to have you here. And
It
I
is
think
good to
it
be
is
back.
one of those things where you're gone a lot. And when you're here, you got to kind of earn your keep. You know, you got to get your spot back in the house. So you got to get to work. And whether that means getting me my water cup when I'm laying on the couch, or it's something bigger, like setting up all the Christmas decorations, you got to earn it. So glad to have you back. I went on quite the run
You're
with
just gonna leave it
with
there,
some
huh?
guests.
Okay.
Do you want to give more feedback?
Nope. Let's get on with the show.
Okay. I had quite a run with some really good guests.
I know. You're on fire. I don't know what you asked me to do this for.
I know. I got a little imposter syndrome for a minute of people that were saying yes. I got to send another prompt out and see who everyone else wants me to have on the show, because I went after it. And I'm always very surprised when people say yes and make time. It's an honor. And it was cool. It really pushes me though, because I even tried to have you come on the last episode with me because I just sometimes get anxious and nervous, but I did it. And I think it's getting easier. I think the more prep I do, I feel more comfortable. And then if the conversation is ever stuck or standing somewhere, I just pull from my prompts. But I don't know. Been going for it.
Do you think when you reach out to guests and ask them, and I mean, I'm not, maybe some of these people have heard of your podcast, but I'm not assuming that everyone's heard of it. Do you think that they go and like, oh, let's see what this podcast, because I know you would do this if someone asked you to go on. Do you think they go and like look up your podcast and they're like, oh my gosh, she's done 150 episodes. Like,
Yeah.
this is like, she takes it serious.
I think that you would. And I've reached out to a few people that have said, okay, let me listen to a few episodes and get a vibe, because I think people obviously have their reputation and they always don't want to be perceived a certain way. And there are a lot of podcasts that, like a call her daddy podcast, where they might talk about their sex life or their private life. And they're like, oh gosh, what am I stepping into?
Right.
And I think, I mean, this podcast has such a wide range where we've had the sexual health episodes and we've had different celebrities on here. And then we've just had sports talk. But I also feel like the one thing I always tell people is if you want the questions before, I can tell you. And if we ever do an episode and there's something you're like, I didn't love that, I will chop it out. It's not
Right.
live. I want everyone to leave and be like, wow, that was so fun. And people are gonna see a really cool side of me and peel back the curtain. So
Right.
I feel like I don't want to catch someone saying something as much as it could be a clip where it could do well on social and go viral. Not really. I don't want it to happen in that way. If like there's
Right.
a funny moment, sure, I'll share it, but I don't want anyone to be like, "Ugh, please don't share that." Like I didn't want to do that. I could have a lot of fun with a very uncensored podcast format, but for
Well,
now,
I think you
for
could. I think you
now.
would crush that one if you just did it solo, uncensored. I think you
Yeah.
would get so much good content.
I mean, I do have my moments, but they're subtle. And I like when people pick up and be like, "Did you actually say that? Did you make that comment?"
Yeah.
Yes, I did. We have a lot to catch up on, so much so that I think we could actually do a three-parter, but I'm gonna pick a few things that I want to talk about today. This was actually now 2 weeks ago. You participated in the first ever Capital One MLB Open golf tournament. I think I said that right, at Shadow Creek in Vegas. It was every team was represented, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
It was a retired player and then a current player.
I was.
There was an asterisk next to that for you because by the time you played, you were no longer on the Cubs. But how did that come to be? How were you picked? How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean that was supposed to be the format, but it wasn't. I don't think every team had current players, right? Like Jimmy Rollins and Ben Francisco played for the um the Phillies.
Yeah.
So there's
Oh,
two
yeah.
retired players, but I think they tried to get a good amount of current, and it was awesome. There was 60 players out there, and then there was actually even more than that came out because it was the same time as the MLB award show. So guys were in town for that. Um, but it was awesome. I don't know how I actually don't know how I got picked for it. I think our relationship with MLB and the stuff we do through our foundation kind of led to that. And Haley reached out to us and said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" We looked at it. I actually said no at first because it was the 4 days leading up to the weekend of our event. And I was like, this is the craziest week of our year every year. There's
Yeah.
no way I can go spend 4 days in Vegas playing golf. And then we're going to be swimming upstream the whole weekend trying to get our stuff. No pun intended, swimming upstream part.
We'll get to that.
But I think you actually convinced me like, oh, you should do this. It'd be great. Like,
It was one of those reverse psychology. You weren't supposed to say it. No.
right.
I I will say I do think it forced us to get our ducks in a row
Right.
much earlier for the golf tournament than it's always last minute. Auction items always come in last minute. Guys confirm last minute, getting the press release together, everything for all the different brands always comes together later. Just that's how it is. But I think this kind of forced us to say, okay, let's make sure we do what we can before you leave for this trip. And I think that gave us a little extra boost.
Yeah. No, it definitely helped because we had to. But back to the tournament, it was for the first one that they ever did. I think they did a pretty good job. They did a really good job. I shouldn't say pretty good. They flew us out. They put us up in the hotel. They had a awesome gifting suite on the range. The first day, they had more stuff for us. Every team had their like affiliates hat on during the tournament.
I thought that was cool.
So, yeah, I think next year that they should actually provide like 3 days of golf shirts of the team, right?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so like some teams actually matched. That some teams actually like went all in and they wore the same shirt
That's
and they had
cool.
it dialed in, which was cool. And looking back, Dex made a joke. I played with Dexter Fowler for the Cubs, so he made a joke the night before the tournament, like, "What are we wearing tomorrow?" And I flew in and I was like, "Well, I brought like
Yeah.
I'm wearing blue, man, like all navy." And he was like, "All right," but I think thinking back, like MLB should do like tops for every team.
That'd be cool.
I think it would be cool, and I also think they could maybe like deck out the caddy because we have caddies with us, right? And put the caddies in like
Yeah.
some team branded like caddy stuff which I think for TV would be great, but also the caddies would lose their minds over it. The caddies had such a good time at Shadow Creek. I mean, they were just out there, hanging out with 60 MLB players and got to see a wide variety of golf ability from guys that were really, really good, like Aaron Hicks, to guys that were just out there having a good old time, which I'm probably closer to that end. So,
Yeah.
but it was fun. It was fun.
I would give my feedback, which it was kind of funny online. There were a lot of people that were very upset by the players that were picked, which I didn't know. It's something that people didn't even know was happening. And then they chose to be very
Well, I
spirited
think
about. They were, why is Justin playing with the Cubs? Okay, well, do you think that this was picked last week? No. And then they're like, why is Dexter representing for the Cubs? Oh, I don't know. He was
won a
on
World
your
Series.
World Series
Yeah.
team and hit a very important home run.
Yeah.
And I just thought that part was funny. That's not even a feedback thing. It's also schedules, getting guys to commit to things in the offseason.
Right.
As we know with all our tournament, we are very, very grateful when guys come and make the time, but you don't have a lot of time, especially with weddings and, they have their own stuff going on. So I'm sure people were asked and people were not available or just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I will say the TV coverage, and I think they'll probably do more of this. It was on TBS, right?
I don't remember. It aired on something.
Yeah, I would
the first
love to
day.
see. I think people would watch if it was on like a regular golf tournament. If it was,
Kind of like the match or something
yeah,
like that.
honestly, I really do, because they ended up doing, it was only what, 2 hours or something on TV. I feel like there had to have been some really good moments that happen, even just the banter out there
I
and
don't even
guys.
think it was 2 hours. I think they squeezed the whole
Yeah.
thing into an hour.
Yeah, it was really
And
quick, and I think people would love to see the banter, guys running into guys that they hadn't seen yet, those sort of things, like, not necessarily just the golf shots, but I think people would like it, and maybe it could be the they could do the highlight show still on the TBS or whatever it is, but maybe MLB Network gets, like, a
I was
couple
gonna say
hours of
the
coverage
funny
every
thing
day.
about Major
There's
League
not a lot
Baseball
going on
is they
in.
have MLB Network. Like they should have just aired it for 3 hours on MLB
Yeah.
Network. They play like different movies all the time. They play like Sandlot and like A League of Their Own and
Yeah.
old, like just air it for 3 hours on MLB Network and
That's
get a
true.
bunch of the MLB people out there with some of the golf guys and like
They might have needed to get the package together, get the first one,
right.
and, like, then they can kinda shop it around
Well,
and
again, yes, it was
figure
the
that out. I
first
think our
one.
first tournament, as we know, was it
Yeah.
was so fun, and I was
No.
really proud of it, but you just really never know what you're gonna get. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, maybe we'll get
No, they knocked it out of the
more
park.
coverage
It
'cause
was really well done.
yeah, you
It
came home with a lot of swag, and
I had to mail stuff home
I
because I
pride
didn't have
our
room.
tournament on our swag items, but you came home with a lot of stuff. They have a little more pull than we do,
It
but
it
you came home
was
with a lot of stuff.
it was jam-packed though. Like the schedule was packed. So
Yeah.
like the first day, it was a 3-day golf tournament. The first day was like a pro-am. So one player went with 4 like sponsors, right? So I played with some of the Capital One guys who were awesome. Had a great time. We had 60 guys, so they kind of broke it up. So I played 9 holes with them, and then Kevin Millar came in and he played the second 9 holes with them. So it was really cool for the sponsors. They got to play with 2 players instead of just one. But that was just kind of fun, whatever. And then the next day, the actual golf tournament started. So it was me and Dex versus your one of your favorite baseball players on the planet, Paul Konerko and Corey Lee. So we were playing the White Sox. So they did do a good job with the matchups, like the rivalries and stuff like that, which I thought was great. But after the first round of golf, it was get back to the hotel, take the shuttle back to the hotel. We got to the hotel at 4:30. I had to run up, shower, change, jump in a suit, and be back downstairs at 5 o'clock for the award show to check in. And then the award show went from 6 to 8:30, whatever it was. And then they had an after party after, which most of the guys went to, and then it started all back over at 6. So it was like that second day was a really, really long day, I'll say
Booked and
that.
busy.
It was crazy.
We have to go back to you playing with Paul Konerko, and you wrote me. You might have had a couple pops at this point, but you
Oh,
wrote me and said you said, "I met your favorite person," whatever, and then you sent a photo.
yeah.
And I said, What did you tell?
I sold you out.
I did have a Build-A-Bear. I was probably way too old to have a Build-A-Bear, but this was when Build-A-Bear came on the scene, and the bear's name was Coco Canerco. Don't know why. My nickname as a kid was Coco and KOKO. But you sold me out, and it was a little embarrassing, but it's okay. I wasn't there to be embarrassed. So it was from a distance.
I also, not only did I tell him that you had the Build-A-Bear, Coco,
Of course.
I also told him about our date at Lavo when Burley was sitting behind us, and you pulled out your book and you had his baseball card as your
My bookmark.
bookmark. Yeah,
It was oddly enough in the book 50 Shades of Grey. So
Yeah.
it was 2012. That was a very
yeah.
big book at the time.
He got a kick out of it. He thought it was funny.
You like to
He
sell
loved
me
it.
out. You like to sell me out.
I mean, it was
and then you
for
get
good
in
things,
a
not for bad things. It was
then
good
I
things.
get in a Twitter war with Frank Thomas. It's never a dull moment with all my old White Sox favorites.
And he
But
tried to bench me in the playoffs, so that was warranted.
was he a great guy? Have you met him before? I feel like he's just had a really great reputation.
You know, I think I've crossed paths with him a couple times, but not like
Yeah.
spend time with him. And after the Pro-Am, I played 9 in the morning. He also played 9 in the morning, and we both went up and we were on the driving range. So I, chopped it up with him for a little bit on the driving range, and then obviously got to spend the whole next day with him. So what a great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
I love hearing that. They say to never meet your heroes. So
Oh, he's a good one. You meet him.
I picked a good one. You've played golf with teammates over the years, or you've heard, I'm sure, about skill level in golf. Do you think there were any players, just a couple that you think would fare really well out there that you didn't see? Guys that have a good, whether it's current or past player, someone that you've heard is really, really good out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chase Utley would be great out there. I think Carson Kelly would be fantastic out there for good TV. I think Ian Happ is a really good golfer, but there's a lot of guys I think that are
I heard Ian a
very
lot on
established
the
golfers,
socials
yeah.
of Cubs fans wanting him to be out there. So
Well, Ian's like a walking billboard for golf, like with his Bednardi and all of his deals that he has.
yeah,
I think every marketing deal he has is a golf deal. So
smart.
I know he's really good. Carson's really good too. So I know obviously they want to get good golfers to make the competition good, but you also kind of want good TV too.
Yeah,
I hope that's just me selling me.
I agree.
I gotta work on my golf game though. I gotta get better.
And somehow I didn't go. They invited all the players to bring a +1, and I started to twitch a little. And it's hard for me to stay away from a city filled with casinos, but
Yeah.
I opted to stay back in Chicago and not go, and had a few friends that were there, and we'll say it was tough. It was tough. I wouldn't have really done anything while you were golfing other than sit in the casino. And then I was like, okay, maybe on the way when we're leaving to go to LA, maybe we swing there and do one night there. No, I was like, okay, we'll wait. I'll go later in the off season. But you had a date next to you at the award show.
Oh man.
They sat the World Series trophy next to you. And I kept thinking, was that going to be my seat? And then you got replaced and got to see an old friend. So
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I kept seeing it on TV, and I'm thinking,
well, first of all,
it's not a troll because you've won it. So I don't know what it was. And I'm thinking, was that like a seat filler and it was supposed to be my seat, but I never RSVP'd. So
I think what actually
I don't
happened,
really know.
I had a name tag on our table that was next to Kara. So I sat with Will and Kara Smith.
Yeah.
And we were like the only ones at our table. There was no one else at the table. So instead of sitting next to Kara, I came on the other side and sat next to Will. So, I mean, no offense to Kara, she's great, but I was, talking to Will and catching up with Will. And so I think that was kind of planned, and that seat was supposed to be open for that to go there. And I was supposed to be on the other side, but because it's probably my fault that I changed seat, but I couldn't believe I was sitting there. I know Bree Betts was sitting at a table behind me, and I was like begging. I'm like, Bree, come grab this
This is
trophy.
yours right
Like,
now.
this
Come
is your
get it.
guys's. Like, it shouldn't be next to me. Like, take it over there. But
Yeah.
no, I don't know. It was
That
good.
the award show was a little bit of a roast, so I didn't know if it was all in that same vein,
I
but
avoided it. I didn't get called out, so that was good.
yeah, they were not a roast, but there was some snarky comments, which
No, they
I can
were.
appreciate, but they did a good job with
Yeah,
it.
Boogie did good.
Yeah,
He
he
did good.
hosted and it was good for sure.
That can't be easy, by the way. Like
No,
that's
no,
he
and that's
did
not even his. I mean, he hosts his podcast, but
right
live
live.
TV is
Yeah,
a different animal.
there's no redos.
No, absolutely not. Well, after that, you got to LA, like you said, and we were gearing up for our 9th annual Justin Turner Golf Classic. And not gonna lie, from 2 years ago, our 7th annual, I have a little anxiety about weather, which LA weather, you don't normally think it's going to be a factor. But since 2 years ago, our tournament was canceled from an absolute monsoon, a storm I've never seen anything like in my entire life. Driving up was literally like driving through the Wizard of Oz opening scene, and it was insane. And we ended up getting our party in and then had to cancel golf and reschedule. And it was such a mess. And again, like we say, people go through a lot to make it to our tournament. So don't want to have a cancellation.
Right.
And leading up to this one, we start looking at the weather and it's looking like rain, rain, rain. And then Monday clear. And then it starts to show Monday rain. And it's showing the bulk of the rain is going to be Saturday. So it'll dry up. And the course, we're kind of going back and forth with Sherwood. What do you got for us? Because they look at I don't know, they have their own Al Roker doing the weather over there.
Right.
And I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and then they're seeing, they say, okay, well, most of the rain is going to be Saturday. It'll dry up Sunday. You guys should be good to go. You actually went out and golfed a couple holes on Sunday, and the course was in pretty good shape.
Right.
And then we wake up and the sun was shining. I was thinking, we might be in a good spot here. We might be good.
There was blue skies.
I know. I took a picture outside
6 a.m. when I got
of
there.
our window at the hotel, and it was beautiful. And I just said, okay, we just need to tee off. Guys knew the weather was going to be a factor. They brought their rain gear, most of them, not Ryan Pepio. I don't know what he was thinking because he's a Florida guy now. He should be ready for the torrential downpour.
Right.
But guys they were ready. They had their all weather gear on, and we teed off. And then what?
Well, like we said, it was clear skies.
Yeah.
6 a.m. We're setting up. Everything's going through it. And we had a 10 a.m. shotgun start. And sure enough, 9:30 starts drizzling. So we rally the troops, get all the guys in, say, hey, let's try to get out a little early. We'll try to get out a little before 10, get this thing in. Hopefully it just blows through. We'll be good to go. I even got text from some guy like Mustakas who lives close to there, was like, coming down right now. It's raining. Like, what do you got over there? And I'm like, dude, I see blue skies right now. So
I
we're
will
rolling.
say, everyone there were two
showed
guys
up.
that didn't show up, and I won't call them out, but we'll like privately call them out. Everyone showed up. I was running around working the gifting suite upstairs and making sure everything was good. And I kept coming down to our check-in table and all the groups were checked in.
Yeah.
So people showed up and I was nervous. I thought, honestly, what if we get there and there's only 25% of our golfers are here? But I feel like that was such a good feeling, even though I'm such a feel batter and I don't want anyone to go out of their way and not have the best experience possible. But that meant a lot. And I know it meant a lot to you too.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, we had people fly in from Boston. We had people fly in from Seattle. We had people fly in or drive in from Arizona. And then Monday morning, Jaron Duran drove up from Huntington Beach. It took him 2.5 hours to get there, knowing it was going to be raining. And Eric Karros and Nomar drove up from Manhattan, knowing there was weather. And it was just awesome. I mean, the support is incredible, and can't say thank you enough to everyone who showed up. And we played. Some of us got through 9 holes and it was wet. Some guys tapped out after 3. Some guys made it through 6 or 7. So we got some golf in. Everyone came into the clubhouse. They had the TVs on and, got dried off. Some guys took showers and changed. And then, we went ahead with our post golf ceremonies upstairs, the reception, and just pushed it up a little earlier. And everyone was good sports. So, some guys understandably jumped back in the car and made the 2 hour, 2.5 hour drive back.
I
But,
know.
I can't say thank you enough to everyone for sticking it out, gutting out the weather, and helping us, put on another successful event and raise lots of money to go to homeless veterans and kids in different hospitals battling illnesses and diseases. So, I mean, that's at the end of the day, the golf and all the stuff is fun, but at the end of the day, we're there to raise money and to try to impact the community of Los Angeles, and we're successful at that. So,
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. This the mood was up. Spirits were high.
it was.
I mean, maybe people were showing it to me because they probably didn't want me to be any more anxious or be upset, but we couldn't have changed it. And
Right.
obviously it was one of those freak things. And you even made the joke the night before at the party that we just need to have the Justin Turner Golf Classic weekend a couple more times and there would never be any sort of a drought in California or anything like
Right.
that because it was just such a freak thing. What did they call it? An atmospheric river
An atmospheric river.
was the way that they described this weather event. So at that point, you just kind of laugh. Everyone has so many crazy memories from trying to get in 18 holes of golf on this day. And everyone was so flexible. And like you said, some guys had to head out and leave because they were going to be dealing with all the crazy weather and getting home. But most everyone gutted it out with us and had a blast. We have to post a video of Nomar offering his assistance on the
I'm gonna post
course
it. I'm gonna post it.
if
Don't.
you want to give a little
Yeah, this
preview of it. But
Nomar came through in the clutch per usual,
we had a
and
club stuck in a
yeah.
tree.
Well,
Someone,
now you're just giving it away. We did have a club stuck in the tree, and then it tried to be retrieved by another club, which also got stuck. And Nomar played fireman, rescuing the little kitten out of the tree.
yeah,
But we have a video of it. We'll post it. It's pretty good.
we'll have to share it. But another great event. And next year, I just know it's going to be sunny skies. And if
No
not,
rain.
we're going to have our crew there that shows up for us. And that means more than anything, for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
After that, we wanted to just keep packing in the schedule a little more, but I talked about Haley on the episode with Shannon a few weeks ago with Vayner Sports, who is such a huge asset to us and the golf tournament and the foundation. And she is a massive Dancing with the Stars fan.
Massive.
There's not a big enough word to describe her fandom for the show.
Never missed an episode.
Since she was little. I think she said she was in
12.
3rd grade or whatever it was. She hasn't missed an episode. And it tapes in LA. And we're in LA for one more night. And she was in LA for one more night before she flew back to New York. And you reached out and tried to get us tickets for the semifinals, which is not a easy ticket in town to get because this season, like I talked about with Danielle in the last episode, has been insane.
Right.
There's always been a following the show, but there's something about this year and this cast that has everyone so invested. And
it seems bigger than it ever has been because,
yeah.
I mean, obviously they've had how many seasons now have they done? 20, 34?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's more buzz around it. Maybe because social media is more prevalent. I don't know, but there's so much buzz around it. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
But you reached out.
I did. I reached out, said, hey, we got some girls that just helped us, pull off this foundation event through all this weather, and they're huge fans. Is there any way I can get them tickets to come to Dancing with the Stars tomorrow night? They will absolutely fall out of their chair right now if they can do this.
And then I got humbled and realized that I am not anything without you.
And the response was, yeah, I'll work on some tickets, but I'm only going to give them to you if you go.
To be fair, maybe I am a big enough person in my own right to get tickets, but they are also known Dodger super fans
Huge.
on the show. And
Everyone.
Dina is a huge fan of the Dodgers. And I think that maybe it was, okay, yeah, Courtney, oh my gosh, we love her podcast. She's so cool. We'd love to have her. But we can parlay this into Justin joining as well.
I
I'm going to tell
think
myself
that's
that.
exactly what went through
Yeah,
her head.
100%. There's no doubt in my mind. That's what it was.
So, anyways, Dina moved mountains for us and got
She
us the
literally
tickets.
moved mountains. I actually heard who she moved from our seat. And I won't say it, but we had no business moving this person from their seat. That's all I'll say.
And we got it. So we obviously didn't have really anything. Kourt went shopping, Haley went shopping, got outfits, set up a car, and off we went on Tuesday to to the studio, to our old stomping grounds right across the street from the Palazzo.
Yeah, when you still live by the Grove.
Yeah.
And we walk in and Haley's freaking out, obviously, because just to step into the ballroom is so crazy and there's so much happening. And we actually timed it really well because we got there and they're about to go live in 10, 15 minutes. So it was already buzzing in the ballroom. We walk up to our seats and we see Turner Guest, and we are sitting right in front of Danielle Fishel and her husband Jensen, who was just on the podcast last week. So that was quite a nice surprise. And then Lola and Ryan were next to them and Haley was next to them. And that was such a fun, it was just a fun random surprise. And then you said, well, maybe they saw that you guys did the podcast together and they wanted to put you two together.
Maybe. Yeah.
It was nice. And we were right behind Jordan's family, my fellow Bruin. So her crew said, hey, make sure when Jordan's up there, we're going to be cheering loud for her. And then Alex Earl's family was diagonal to us. So, and then, yes, we did see, well, from afar, we saw Dylan Efron, his first appearance in the ballroom to cheer on his brother.
You mean Zach?
I mean,
we saw Zach.
And well, we saw Dylan too, but saw them from afar because that was the text I got the most. Did you see Zach? Did you see Zach? Did you see Zach? Yes, I saw Zach from afar.
He was like on the opposite side, not same side of the floor, but opposite end of us.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And yeah, Robert's family was there in the middle. It was just cool because there really is. I went years ago. My friend knew one of the contestants and we got tickets, but I sat up in, I don't even know what they call it, the gallery or
balcony.
The balcony. Yeah. Cause there's two different levels. I guess there's two balconies and we were up in, I don't remember if we're in the first one or the second one. And it used to be little two-top, almost cocktail tables that we sat and it was not as crowded. It was not a final show or anything like that, but it was not as crowded, but there really isn't a bad seat because it's such a intimate set, I think. And so
it was actually bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Really?
Yeah,
because a lot of times smaller in TV. It's like a basketball court.
A lot of times when you walk into TV places, like it's tiny. You're like, oh my gosh, like it's so small in here. And I actually thought the ballroom looked bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Interesting.
There was a lot of people in there.
Yeah, there was a lot, but I feel like everyone has a good view, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because you're basically stacked.
It's straight up
on top of the floor. So I don't know. It was really cool. And what a well-oiled machine too.
Oh my gosh. The people who worked there.
They've been doing it for so long and I'm sure they have such a system down, but everything was just so efficient. I think it has to be for a live show because it's not like we've been to tapings for sitcoms and things and it's, they can do multiple takes and all that. But when it's live, I think it really has to be a well-oiled machine. And speaking of live, we got to talk about it.
What happened?
We got to talk about it.
So talk about it.
Do you want to tell the story from your perspective and then I'll give you my thoughts on the end of it?
Okay. Yeah. So obviously we're sitting in front of Danielle Jansen. They have camera guys going all around up and down the aisles and dancers are running in. I'm on the very end of the aisle. And obviously I knew that Danielle was on the show and she had just gotten voted off the week before. Um, and so she's sitting right behind me and she was obviously, I think everyone on the show is pretty tight, but you can tell she was rooting like super hard for Dylan. I think she really,
That was her alliance.
yeah, I think she really like connects with Dylan for whatever reason. So Dylan's dancing on the floor and the camera guy's like down there. Dylan finishes his dance. The camera guy comes like up our aisle and Danielle's going crazy, right? Like she's loving it, going hard. And the camera guy comes up and in my brain, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to get Danielle, right? Because she was on the show. She's cheering for Dylan like crazy. I mean, we were all cheering for Dylan, but she's cheering like crazy. So the camera like comes up like almost right in my face. And I'm like, I was like, I'm blocking the shot. So I take a step to my left into the aisle so the camera guy can get like Danielle, right? Like that's who she wants. And the guy follows me as I take the step. And I end up next to Alex's sister on live TV. And I'm like clapping and the camera follows me. So it looks like me and Alex's sister are like right next to each other and it show it on TV and everyone's like, wait, where's Kourt? I thought you were there. And it looked like you weren't there.
You
But
had your Coldplay concert moment with Ashton Earl.
Ashton. That was her name.
And so here's the thing. It's a well-oiled machine. This camera guy is capable of getting where he needs to go to get the shot. And I think that you are just that humble that you couldn't imagine a scenario where this guy wanted to get you, but could not be me.
I
The
thought
camera in my face, I'm going with him. I am making myself bigger. Yeah, couldn't be me. And I love that about you. And
that's accurate.
I agree of that thought of, oh shit, they want to get her. And they did, and they had a bunch of really cute moments of her cheering on Robert and everyone, actually.
Right.
Like you said, she is just a fan of everyone on the show. But just couldn't be me. And then, yeah, like you said, we're getting all these texts. My cousin texts my mom and said, "Where's Courtney? I'm watching it. I don't see her." And you just see this big spot next to you wide open. And then you can see Danielle and her husband there. And I'm just thinking, I hope no one got fired because there were a few little things in this episode where people are like, oh, I don't know if we're supposed to see that. I don't know if we're supposed to see that. And it was your Coldplay moment. And I mean, you guys looked great together. I will say the live shot of you two.
You were acting like we were like embracing or something.
No, it looked like you were in this, and you had the white.
Looked at me like I was crazy. Like
she had the white blazer on, and then you had the little white peeking out under your suit jacket, and you guys looked beautifully coordinated. And so,
we worked hard.
I mean, I was dying laughing, but just such a Justin moment. And again, it could not be me. I've never met a camera I didn't like. I would have loved being in the shot. And the guy, he actually came back by and smoked your knee, I think, with the camera.
That was later. But you can see the camera, like the camera pans over to me. And I was like, oh, my bad. Like, I didn't know you wanted.
It actually was right after they showed Zac Efron, which was such a huge deal because the entire season, everyone was asking, when's Zac coming on as he watched the show? And it was this big moment of his reaction to Dylan's dance. And then the camera goes to you right after. So I think E! And people and all these outlets were sharing this clip and it's just so perfect. And I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
I can tell. You're so happy.
No, I thought it was hilarious. Later on, they showed you and
they showed us a couple times.
But it was very, where's Courtney?
Yeah.
Where is she? You were just such a super fan. People probably assumed I was in the bathroom.
You know what?
Which I will say, I was very fast running and making it to the restroom during a timed commercial break.
I made it
really
in
gets
like
you
seconds.
Gets you motivated. And then when yours was scary. They were like, "Okay, we're live in 9, 8," and you're tiptoeing. I thought you were gonna get
I
tackled by
was
someone.
running. I ran across the stage.
Yeah, you were high stepping it, and you slipped because they actually told me
to fill my seat.
to split like one cheek on your seat and one cheek on mine, and really like split the middle. He actually said, "Make yourself bigger." I'm like, "No, you made it too." But they notice all
give me
the
some
little,
popcorn. Give me
yeah,
some marshmallows.
they don't have seat fillers, so I don't know. What an experience. And
I will say, and I guess maybe this is throwing a little shade. At least when I was on camera, I didn't say, "Is that a good score?"
ooh, wow. We know it's a good score, and
Yeah, I
the
mean,
9s and the 10s were
right,
flying.
flying.
Yeah, I actually went up and I saw the judges table after the show, and I saw the little button where you press the numbers, and I could see how Flava Flav accidentally hit that 9 and then couldn't. There's no delete, so you can see how he accidentally hit the 9 for Alex to not get her perfect score a couple weeks before that. But
I will say the one thing that was hard for me was to hear. Like, you can almost not hear anything like the judges were saying,
oh
because
yeah,
it took them a minute, I feel like, to turn up the volume inside the ballroom.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're all mic'd and they all have it, and at home you hear it crystal clear.
Yeah,
But in there, it was really hard to hear like the judges'
Alfonso and Julian,
criticism,
yeah.
all, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, even the judges. But and hearing the intros and all that stuff, like, you couldn't hear them at all. I couldn't
yeah,
hear anything Alfonso said. So,
yeah.
but it was a good workout. It was a lot of standing up and clapping, a lot of sitting down. At one point in the beginning of the show, it was 60 seconds straight of standing and clapping.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't sound like much, but like, put a watch on, stand up, and see if you can clap for 60 seconds. I was like, holy, what is going on here? Like, we're still clapping.
I said, thank goodness I grew up in the Catholic Church because it was up and down and up and
It
down
was
and
so
this
much up and
and yeah, I was ready. I was primed and ready. But no, it was so fun. And thank you to Dina for
yeah.
hooking us up with those tickets. I still want to throw your hat in the ring, and mostly for you to be a contestant on the show down the road. I know David Ross did it. There's one other,
Danny Amendola did it.
yeah,
Not a baseball guy,
Johnny
but
Damon. Someone did it.
Johnny Damon, I think, did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They love their athletes on the show, and I think you're a
Um,
good height for it. And when they have the basketball guys, and I think Daniela last year was paired with like a 7-foot tall guy. But I'm gonna put your hat in the ring only because when they do their dedication week, I might have a chance to be able to come out there and dance with you, and
yeah.
just because that would be fun. But I think you would actually do
They
well.
told us they're 2 Dodgers they wanted.
Well,
I'm not
they
gonna leak them, but
just like the golf tournament in Vegas, maybe those 2 guys say no, and
oh
then
yeah,
you are
and be the
slotted in
default
there.
guy. Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
however it doesn't, I mean, I don't care from the 40th choice. If that phone rings, I am saying yes.
Yeah, I do have one question. I want to know what their budget is for confetti.
Oh, it's insane.
It was I have never seen so much confetti in my life. It
Yeah.
was absurd how much confetti was being blasted
Yeah.
out of these confetti guns. And what was even more impressive was how fast the stage crew cleaned the confetti up in between every single dance.
Yeah.
Like,
The leaf blower.
unbelievable.
Beautiful work, honestly.
I mean, there has to be barrels and
That
barrels
first
and
confetti
barrels.
cannon at the last hit on the dance is
Right.
really gives you a little
It
fright.
scares
You
you
have to be
sometimes.
ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you gotta
scares
be
you. It had
because
me
sometimes
jumping.
you're locked in. And I
Right.
do feel like the dances always end very abruptly
Yeah.
because you're just getting into it and they don't have a long time. And then
Yeah.
it's just sometimes it's like da 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 da, and then it just went off. Oh my gosh. Yes. But I will say I think you would do really well because I think you are a really good student and I think you would take it very seriously. We need a
Okay.
lot of Normatec and ice and
No,
all of
I
that
think I'd be
because
good.
but you know how to handle your recovery.
It might
So
get me in like the best shape of my life,
that
right?
was the funny thing with Danielle is you guys were discussing, how hard it is on her body to do it. And you guys it was like you were swapping war stories of, oh yeah, I used the Normatec and the Game Ready and this. She's like, oh
Mark
yeah, I
Pro.
love
She's
the
like, I
Mark
had a
Pro.
Mark Pro, and I'm
Yeah. I was
like,
like, wow, just 2 athletes discussing their recovery.
yeah.
It was cool to see that. But yeah, I am in awe and all of them and how much they work and how good this season
That
is.
was
So
awesome. It was
yeah.
awesome. It was cool that we got to make that happen for Haley because she does so much for us, and we're so grateful for her and everything she does for us. So it was cool to see her kind of light up, and
Oh, yeah, she was
12-year-old Haley like sitting
freaking out.
in the ballroom freaking out. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was cool.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for today's episode. A friendly reminder to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube because you can watch all of our episodes there, and you can leave us comments and ratings and reviews wherever you listen to podcasts. But thank you all so much for listening, and I will talk to you next week. We'll see if Justin's on here again, but we'll be here no matter what. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bum 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 bum.